Okay, so join me here as I put together this custom book review pad. So first thing I'm going to do, I have it all cut. I'm going to take this heavy piece of chipboard and I'm going to cut it to fit this notepad. This notepad is 4x6. So let's see, I'm going to, let's see, get a pencil. No, actually I'm going to get a pen because the pen has a thinner point on it. All right, so now I'm just going to roughly measure, okay, and then put a little tick mark, and then put a little tick mark here. And generally speaking, you have to cut a little bit inside of them to account for the width of the pen. So let's see here. I know this is not all showing up on video here. One day I will get this camera situation. One day, you know, hopefully I'll be able to get, you know, a better camera set up. But this one works for now. So let's see how well. All right, so you can see I'm almost pretty good on the length, but I need a little bit more over here. I tend to not measure. I have always been pretty good at spatial, spatial reasoning. This is pretty good. I think just maybe a tiny bit over here. And I feel like this one's a tiniest bit crooked. Let's see. So I'm going to start here and just go like that. And then see. And what I do is if there's any like edge, or even if on the notepad anything doesn't cut and there's like a little frayed edge, I take these scissors. These are huge scissors, straight, long straight blade that I got on Amazon. Actually, it was a 2-pack. It was this and this pair. I love them. But for long things that I need to really make sure that I'm getting a straight cut, or just like for zipping off a couple little like fuzzies here on the edge, I love these long ones. My daughter calls these my ribbon cutting scissors. All right, so now let's try this. Let's see if this is good, a good fit. Yeah, this is pretty good. So now the other thing I'm going to do, just to kind of finish this up a little bit, I have a Tombow eraser. And I use this when I make greeting cards too. This is really good at getting off any little frayed edge. Love this. This is great. I have had these erasers for probably 6 years now. 6 years. And they still, I have 2 of them and they both look like this. And this is 6 years of use. So I forget how much they were, maybe like $5 or something like that. So worth the $5. All right, so now this is good. So now I'm gonna come over here with my box. I save scraps of chipboard. Let me grab some. So I'm going to take some chipboard here and I'm going to put it close to the top, but not completely at the top. And then I'm going to take a large clip and clip it on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And again, you know what? This one has a little, I'm going to move this down a little bit. Hold on. Back to the drawing board there. Okay. So now I'm going to do that. You don't want it too close to the top because you don't want it to become part of your pad. If it does, not a big deal at all because you can take off the first sheet. Usually when I print these are 40 sheet notepads, and usually what I do is I actually print 42. So really you actually get 41 sheets instead of 40. And if it actually comes out perfect and there's nothing on the top, you actually get 42 sheets. But if you don't have it down here a little bit, it will become part of it. Now I have this padding compound. This again I bought this probably like 4 or 5 years ago to make money pads for my niece and my nephews for Christmas. So I took dollar bills, and I made a pad out of them, and then I used this padding compound so that they could actually rip the bills off when they went shopping. Okay, and now I'm going to take, I'm looking for my favorite brush for this, and oh, here it is. Okay, all right, so I just use a little brush like this. All right, and I go in the padding compound, and then I just a little bit along the top here. And you'll see I do like to put a couple of coats on it. You don't need to, but I don't know. I like to make sure that it's not gonna fall apart on you. So what I do after this, after I get the first nice coat on, I take my finger and run it along it. So I push it into it so that I make sure all of the pieces of paper have padding compound on them. And then I go over it one more time. Oops, sorry, hit the camera there. Okay, and now that that's done, I take one more clip and I put it right up here at the top so that it holds it all together like this. And it really only takes a few minutes for it to dry. And in the meantime, while I'm letting that dry, I keep a jar of water in here because I don't have a sink in my craft room, and I just, oops, splattering, wash the brush out. And I have these nice microfiber cloths from Simon Says Stamp, and then I just dry that off and cap that back up and wait for it to dry. So I'm going to leave this sit for about 5 minutes and let it dry. Thanks for watching, guys.